Australia is seeing a flare-up of anti-Semitic attacks, the latest in Sydney, where a car was set on fire and 2 homes were vandalised with anti-Israeli messages. It's the second such incident in 2 weeks. Maynard reports from Sydney.
What started as a few isolated incidents now threatens to escalate into a much wider campaign of anti-Semitism. Last week, a Jewish synagogue was set on fire in Melbourne. Today, property in Sydney's eastern suburbs, which is home to a large Jewish community, was sprayed with graffiti and a car set alight. Fences and walls were daubed with racist slogans in what was described as an outburst of vile hate. Only last month, there was another similar attack in the same area. There's also been another incident today with anti-Semitic graffiti spray-painted on property in the inner city Sydney suburb of Arncliffe. Now, whether this is a one-off copycat attack or something more serious is yet to be established, but it reinforces the concern increasingly felt by members of Australia's Jewish community.
My reaction was initially one of anger and being scared, but I'm not going to let that happen. And it's time for us to be able to step up, and our politicians to actually, and police force to really act in the right way and bring the perpetrators of the law to justice.
A lot of emotion this morning, a lot of anger in the community, waking up to yet another attack in Wallara after what seems to be a sustained attack by people that are seeking to divide this community and intimidate it.
Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said this morning's act of vandalism was aimed at promoting fear in the community, and it diminished Australia as a nation.
I unequivocally condemn the shameful acts that are aimed at the Jewish community. We must all continue to stand together against anti-Semitism. One of the things that makes us the greatest nation on earth is that people of every faith and background have the right to feel safe and welcome. We must preserve that and defend it, and my government will.
The New South Wales Premier, Chris Minns, described it as a hate crime designed to strike fear in the Jewish community.
I want to make it clear that this is antithetical and completely opposite to the kind of community and society that we want in Australia in 2024. This violent act will be met with the full response from New South Wales Police. Of course, it will be completely and thoroughly investigated.
Meanwhile, police have ramped up security in the area to guard against any similar incidents. The authorities generally are clearly concerned about these latest attacks, and especially the Jewish community.
2 persons, 2 males who were disguised, were seen running from that location. We believe in their late teens, early 20s. A police response, a full response is underway and commenced immediately.
The chief executive of the Zionist Federation of Australia insisted that Jew hatred was escalating into domestic terrorism, fueled by the demonisation of Israel. The worst of these latest attacks happened last Friday in Melbourne, where a synagogue was gutted by fire in an incident declared a likely terrorist attack. Well, there's no hiding the fact that anti-Jewish sentiment has increased in Australia over the past year, with pro-Palestinian protest marches taking place on a regular basis. Rightly or wrongly, the Prime Minister has come in for criticism for a perceived reluctance to come out strongly against one side or the other. Part of the dilemma facing the government here is that many of Labour's supporters live in constituencies with a large Muslim population, and with an election due to be called in the first half of next year, the government will not want to lose any of those seats. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese today moved to show his support for the Jewish community by announcing a donation of $8.5 million Australian dollars for the redevelopment of the Sydney Jewish Museum. About 55,000 people a year visit the centre, which encourages a better understanding of Jewish history. Australia has, per capita, the second highest number of Holocaust survivors anywhere in the world, and this latest outburst of anti-Semitism has clearly shocked many Australians. But with the Middle East conflict already exacerbating political and social tensions here, the road ahead in this proudly multicultural society appears increasingly uncertain. Maynard, CNA, Sydney.